Well, good evening, everybody. Michael Soothing here. I have with me right here a little pasalubong, which is gifts that my girlfriend Joanne brought to me from the Philippines when she just came here day before yesterday. So I'm going to catch up on a little newspaper reading. I have free papers here I got in the hotel lobby. We'll do our usual thing, going through to look for comments on interesting articles. I haven't read these papers yet, so I don't know what's in them. But first I want to try one of these yummy. If you didn't watch the other video about this, pasalubong is gifts that a Filipino brings when they travel, and usually it's coming back to family members from another place, but it's also can be in the other direction. So she brought gifts not just for me, but since it's a long visit, she brought gifts for Chelsea and my other kids and parents. I don't know how she fit any clothes in her suitcase, as a matter of fact, because it was packed with pasalubong. So this is one of the things she brought for me, and I'm going to try one. I never had it. It's called Yama. Yama?
Yama, yes.
Yama. So maybe Yama is Yama. I don't know. We'll see if Yama is yummy.
It's caramel, babe.
Caramel?
Soft caramel.
It says the taste you can't resist. 8 pieces. It's from Davao in the Philippines. And so one of the places I hope to visit someday, I hope to visit Mindanao, where she has relative houses, and I hope to visit Manila area, and I hope to visit Cagayan and her orchard, her family orchard. But right now, let's visit this yummy snack. Let's see what it might be. I think I'm mangling the box a little bit the way I'm not supposed to, but I'm not too smart about opening things. It looks like a pyramid. Let's take a peek. It looks like some kind of a pyramid thing. Maybe it will bring me some harmonic vibes while I eat it, from the universe. I hope the crinkling isn't too loud, guys. I know how my microphone amplifies crinkles way above what I think it sounds like to my voice. Maybe if I hide a bit, I'll tell you what, I'll edit this sound down in post-production. I won't talk while I'm unwrapping it. That way you won't notice. This looks a little bit like a tower from the Lord of the Rings. So I think it's pretty cool looking. See, if you look from different directions. They had that one thing where I think one of those stories is called The Two Towers or something. Anyway, I'm going to bite the end of it first. At first, oh look, Joanne came in for a nibble. This is really yummy. At first you think it's just going to be like granulated brown sugary when you first start to bite into it. But then you get this really strong, yummy caramel flavor, which I really like. It's quite delectable. Thank you, my GF, for bringing this. I'm going to have another bite.
It can be smoother, babe. That's not so smooth, but it's okay.
melts in your mouth once you take a bite of it. It's really good. What does that say on it? Oh, that's the brand. Yumma. Yumma. So, I'm going to save a bite for a little bit later so I don't have too much sugar at one time. This is all crooked as usual. And we'll start on the paper, but I have to get a sip of water first. Joanna's editing video right now for her channel. We're still at our motel, having fun out in the Eugene area before I take her to my place to see the Oregon coast. We wanted to check out Sahili Falls and Coosa Falls and some of the nature and stuff around here. We were going to go to Crater Lake, but today turned out to be a cloudy day. And if you want to go to Crater Lake to see the deep, deep blue, the bluest water you've ever seen in your life, it must be on a sunny day. Pardon the loud cars outside. I'm not used to it, but we're not in our normal environment. So, anyway, I'm going to start with the Oregonian and see what they have to say in here. Do you know there's an eclipse coming up? I'll definitely do, since some of you have requested that I do more videos on, celestial events and things like that, astronomy type stuff. I'll definitely do a video before the eclipse and tell you all about it. But anyway, what's in here? Cardiac arrests are down after Medicaid growth. I don't want to get into health stuff because it was so controversial before, and that's not quite an ASMR topic. Things that are controversial get people wound up. Not that I don't mind telling you my opinions, it's just that my purpose here is to relax you, not to get you upset. So, what's relaxing? An FBI agent is facing 5 counts. 5 counts of what? Accused of lying about firing at some guy with his gun. It says here he fired 2 shots at somebody and missed. Oh, I guess he was embarrassed about missing. And the sheriff deputies shot the guy who was fleeing. He was a robbery suspect or something. Let's see what it says. They're disappointed and angry in him for lying under oath. Bad FBI agent. Okay, that's kind of boring. Let's move on. Metro Northwest. Riders are split on security needs. Oh, this is about security on buses. How many bad people are riding on mass transit? Joanne is a little surprised that here in America, we don't really have mass transit buses and trains. She's used to Denmark and Sweden, where they do have that, but everything there is close together, kind of, We can't really do it here. Besides, we Americans love our giant gas guzzling vehicles, don't we? In fact, we like to have 5 or 6 of them each. We were taking a walk in the neighborhood and she said, these houses have 3 cars each. In a place like Denmark or Sweden, they might have 1 tiny car. Here it's like 3 giant SUVs in the yard, right, in the driveway. Anyway, what's it say about the metro? See how quickly I get off track. All right. TriMet's board of directors. Extremist fatally stabbed 2 men and attacked a third last month. A Portland woman. The meeting was interrupted by protesters who wanted to discuss more police presence. Others said more police is a bad thing because minorities don't like it and they're protesting. Anyway, that's too close to politics again. Let's skip it. Look at the comics instead. Here. Mother Goose and Grimm. Are comics ever funny these days? When I was a kid, they were really pretty funny. Lots of good Charles Schultz peanut strips and stuff. But they never seem funny to me now when I read them. Hi, I'm Lois. Now that summer has started, I'll be stopping by every day. Okay, let's look at this one, for example. It's an ice cream truck, and the guy says, now that summer has started, I'll be stopping by every day. And the lady says, let me give you some more money. And he says, what's that for? And she says, to stop by once a week. Okay, I guess maybe it's a tiny bit funny, but on the 1 to 10 scale, it's only about a 0.02 of funniness. All right. And that's my experience with all the comics these days. Puzzle solutions. Do you want the solution to last week's crossword? All right. Let's see what else is happening. Oregon State bird bill unlikely to take flight. I guess that's the Oregon State bird, but I haven't been a state citizen long enough to know what bird kind that is. So let's see. A western meadowlark apparently is the state bird. Do you think that birds are ever informed whether their species is the state bird and that they might then feel more special? I think we should let them know. Don't you? The western meadowlark status as the state bird appears secure. Meadowlarks are going to be happy to hear this. As the House lawmakers are not expected to vote on a bill that would have replaced them, the robin-sized songbird, from its perch in favor of the osprey. The osprey is like a seabird, right? The senators voted to designate the osprey as state bird, but it has not come up yet before the House Committee on Rules. You know, I don't see any reason to knock out the meadowlark in favor of the osprey, do you? Just because the osprey is a lot bigger, you know, that would be bullying on its part to say, I'm taking over. So, see you later, meadowlarks. Okay. Around the world today in history. What happened in history today in previous years? Wow, they go way back. 1613. London's original Globe Theatre, where many of Shakespeare's plays were performed, was destroyed by a fire sparked by a cannon shot during a performance of Henry VIII. That's interesting. Maybe it was a disgruntled woman who shot the cannon because she didn't think it was fair that Henry VIII kept, like, marrying women and then bumping them off when he wanted a new wife, right? That seems a little unfair to me, too. If you want to see a good Henry VIII film, Anne of 1,000 Days. Hey, I have an Anne in my life. Anne of 1,000 Days, with Guinevere Bujold as his wife, his main wife, and the one who supplanted Catherine, the Spanish wife, and was trying to manipulate, you know, to get her child as the next heir to the throne, her daughter, and who eventually did become heir to the throne. And Henry was pissed off at her and had her bumped off because he fell for her. Who was that he fell for? Who's that great actress, that British actress that was named after the one he fell for? I can't remember. Anyway, names, you know. She was in a mini-series and a bunch of movies back in the 80s. Okay, I'm rambling. What else happened? 50 years ago in Oregon, that's boring. In 1956, on this day, actress Marilyn Monroe married playwright Arthur Miller, famous American playwright, in a civil ceremony. In other words, they were doing it privately, you know. They didn't want crowds, because this was like her 87th marriage, you know, in a civil ceremony in White Plains, New York. Oh, it says, this marriage lasted 4.5 years. Well, that's pretty good. I think her marriage to Joe DiMaggio, the famous baseball player, was much shorter than that. Do you think she was bumped off because of her affair with John F. Kennedy? Some people say so. I have no idea, but conspiracy theorists like that one. Okay, this day in 1927, the first trans-Pacific airplane flight was completed as somebody or other who I can't pronounce and somebody or other else who I can't pronounce, looks like a German name, Hegenberger, arrived at Wheeler Field in Hawaii aboard the Bird of Paradise, an Atlantic Fokker C-2. A Fokker they came in. Wow, how about that? After flying 2,400 miles from Oakland, California in 25 hours. Well, that's not a trans-Pacific flight if they landed in Hawaii. It's only halfway. I must be missing something here, or they did. If there were many of them on that flight, the company that built this plane, the Atlantic Fokker, do you think they built a lot of Fokkers there with that assembly line? You know, I wonder if they knew Robert De Niro by any chance. Okay, anyway. All right, let's see. The rest of them are boring. More about, okay, man electrocuted on power lines. Ooh, I don't want it to be that way when I go. I'd rather die in my sleep. Man electrocuted on power lines. What did he do stupid? A man was electrocuted on power lines in Portland after he climbed a utility pole. See, he was probably drunk or something and thought he would mess around. The man reportedly, was pulling on wires attached to the pole in the northeast corner intersection of 122nd and Stark Street. When officers arrived, he was dangling halfway up the pole. That's a sad story, but it's like one of those Darwin Award things, you know. We just legalized dope in Oregon, right? So this could have been part of the reason, you know. Or maybe he had too much to drink. All right. Police report. Woman in stolen car rams the police car during a stop. You think I make this stuff up? There it is. It's like an episode of Cops, the Bad Girls episode that you see now and then. Let's see what she did. A woman in a stolen car rammed a police car and drove away after officers attempted to stop her in downtown Portland on Wednesday. Let's see, they stopped the car, they approached, the driver put it in gear, officers pepper sprayed into the car, she then rammed their police car, and sped away on Southwest 10th Avenue. They followed for several blocks, but they stopped due to the woman's dangerous driving after they determined no officers were injured. They just let her go. Can you believe it? That's Portland for you, okay? That wouldn't happen in any town in Texas, I can tell you. Even if 15 innocent bystanders got mowed down in the process, they'd chase that car down and get that culprit out of there. You know, maybe she was having a bad hair day. Okay. Boy found in trunk suffers severe heat-related illness. Good grief. What is wrong with people? Who would put their kid in the trunk, or did he do it himself? Let's find out the story, because now I have to know. There's the headline. Okay. A Medford boy was airlifted to Portland on Tuesday after he was discovered in a car trunk by his parents and suffered severe heat-related illness. Oh, I think the kid was just playing or something and didn't realize, and he locked himself in the trunk. Temperatures that day reached a high of 89 degrees. It's not known how long the boy was in the trunk. It appears as though he got into it on his own, but they're investigating the incident. Okay. Let's hope no one put him in there on purpose.
Did he die?
No, he's okay, but he's got hospitalized though. He's in bad condition, critical condition, so I don't know. Oh, this is gonna get age restricted because, see, there's girls in bikinis in this Phoebe and her unicorn comic strip. See there? Now I'm gonna get age restricted, okay? My video. All right. Donate your car. No, I don't think I will, thank you. If I had a junky one, maybe. What else? Look at all the stuff on television. Here is the menu of the stuff on local TV. And there's about 200 selections there. And I believe that of those 200 selections, no, I'm counting them. This is about 500. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. No, it's about 400 selections. Of those 400, I see that about 2 of them are worth watching, okay? Forget the rest. Buying antique toys and dolls. Coming to the Portland area. Do you have stuff to sell like this? Old metal toys from long ago? If so, you can come sell them to this guy for 1/10 of what he will get when he resells it. Okay? Doesn't that sound like a good deal? That's how these big convention things work when they're at a big, fancy hotel and they buy stuff from you, like jewelry and stuff. If you ever see that, we're here for 2 days to buy jewelry and old toys and antiques. They're gonna give you pennies on the dollar. Okay, so be careful. Just a little advice from somebody who, I told you I was gonna show you this. Girl's mad about, the healthcare bill, but I'm just saying maybe, I think I'm gonna withhold comment. Well, there's no bill passed yet. We have no idea what might be passed or not passed. Here's the headline. If anybody gives me any political feedback, I'm gonna scream and my head will explode. I'm gonna wrap it in duct tape before I read the comments. but I just want to show you how divided America is on this topic. The big headline screams out, only 12% support the GOP healthcare plan. Now, that would imply that the meaning of this headline is to imply that maybe 88% of Americans, think Obamacare is a pretty good thing. But if you look at this continuation of the poll they did down here, where they get more specific, what you find out is kind of interesting. Only 11% of the population think Obamacare is okay. Leave Obamacare, well, 11%. That's what it says, okay? So the headline just a tiny bit misleading. Now, where do the rest of the poll numbers fall? 42% say Obamacare should get fixed. 30% say you should repeal Obamacare, but come up with a different plan. 14% say you should repeal Obamacare even if there is no alternate plan. When you look at those numbers, they fall all across the spectrum. And when you look at how difficult the actual problem is, how complicated it is, there are no good solutions, to be honest. Do you know that Medicare eats up a full 24% roughly of the federal budget? And that's currently not Medicaid, not Obamacare, just Medicare. It's much more than even the national defense, 24%. And furthermore, do you know that people paid into that system their entire working career, a health insurance system they paid in every day of their lives while they worked without getting one penny of health care in return for that, because you get nothing until you're 65. So you pay in for 45 years and get zero in return. And yet still, in spite of the trillions paid in by us working folks, it's still 24% of the federal budget. Now, when you consider that a universal healthcare system would basically need to expand something like Medicare to everybody, think about what that would really cost. It would be half of the federal budget at least. So that's why the problem is complicated. I don't know what they're going to come up with. As I told you in my other video, I don't think it can be worse than what they have now, but let's hope it's better. But I don't know how they're going to do it. You can't make something reasonably priced and at the same time make it a Rolls Royce and a Cadillac, right? You can't pay for a Yugo or a Ford Pinto and get a Rolls Royce in return. That's the problem. In America, we're a little bit spoiled because we think, well, if I need an MRI and $1 million in chemotherapy and $1 billion of other stuff for various things, that's what the system should pay for. But how do you pay for that when everybody's on it? I wonder. Not everybody needs that kind of health care, of course. But should all the healthy people who are working hard to maintain their health, eating carrots and exercising every day, should those folks pay for, people like me who ate too many carbs and now have diabetes, right? I mean, what if I have a stroke and it costs $400,000 or $2 million to treat me, right? I'm not so sure it's fair.
It is because you
Yeah.
worked hard.
Because I worked hard, Joanne says it is fair. But remember, she comes from Europe where they have pretty good universal health care coverage. It's free. They tell them it's free, but really what it means is they pay a lot in taxes, right? So, whatever health care scheme we end up with, please be aware it's going to cost a fortune. And we have to be prepared for that it will cost a fortune. Oh, look at this. The editorial page is all filled with politics. I don't want to read that. I think we just did enough of that for one day. Don't you? This whole section is filled with politics. The same old stuff. Desperate ISIS fighters use human shields as battle. No, that's more politics. I can't take it. My head will explode even if you guys don't bother me in comments. So let's toss that aside. I threw that section away. Let's find something more. This is more uplifting. Little children learning about bears. Check it out. Little kids sitting cross-legged. I can't do that. My joints get too sore now. Little kids sitting cross. I couldn't do it even at that age. Sitting cross-legged on the floor, learning about animals. Hey, they didn't have nice big graphics in books like this when I was a kid. We had to sit in little desks, and a mean teacher with a big ruler would whap us, you know, if we even spoke out of turn. So we had to learn. Yeah, we had to learn reading and writing and arithmetic.
How did you get some spanking?
Not too much. I didn't get disciplined too much because I tried to just be quiet and I was Aspie, so I was sitting there quietly drawing pictures and paying no attention to what the teacher was saying. But it sunk in somehow. I would, you know, do my homework at night and learn the stuff and then come pass the test, but I wasn't listening in class. Okay. This is about the FBI agent again. Oh, look. Avocados. Avocados get their just desserts, it says. They're making dessert out of it. I'm not sure I want avocado in a cake or a pie or a cookie. Do you? I don't think so.
Shake.
The shake, maybe. I don't know. The star of countless dips. Are you going to have some on 4th of July? Joanne promised to make me some guacamole. It has a mild flavor and a creamy texture that makes it perfect for a variety of recipes, including key lime pie and other sweet dishes. And I guess this is a key lime pie they're showing, but I don't know. That sounds a little disgusting to me. Is it yummy? My ghost in the distance says it's yummy. We'll see.
It's Chelsea, babe. It's Chelsea.
Oh, that's right. We only have one ghost in it. Look at this. Flying saucers are evasive 70 years after the first report. In other words, this guy reported the first UFOs, but we haven't really found any after that, in spite of thousands of additional reports. No one's ever been able to really catch one or find one or get conclusive photographic evidence. Do you know that before, when people were just flying blimps, you know, there were UFO blimps. So it's whatever's in people's heads, you know. Anyway.
Schizo.
Yeah. Well, this guy was an Oregonian who first saw the UFOs. That's why it's in here. Yeah. his sighting was the first to gain nationwide attention. He saw UFOs allegedly by Mount Rainier. Oh, that's by Seattle, up in Washington State. He says he saw seven saucer-like objects in a formation between 9,500 and 10,000 feet, moving at an amazing speed of 1,200 miles an hour. There are actually somebody's dinging. I think that is the house ghost. What time is it? If it's
11:07.
that's the house ghost telling me she's leaving work right now. And that way I know if she's gonna get home safe, because I'm not home to check and find out.
Leaving now.
See, I figured it out. My battery has about 3 minutes left, so I'm not gonna be able to read everything to you. But we'll see if anything else here is compellingly interesting. Rose, leave somebody alone, tech debacle, Sessions is a tobacco-funded blah, blah, blah. It's all politics, forget it. The complexity of a public memorial, chalk messages, photographs, flowers, and candles. There it is. There's the graphic. I know I didn't let you see it for very long. Oh. Why Nicole Kidman belongs in the pantheon of great actresses. I actually think Nicole Kidman is a very good actress, so I'm not going to dispute them. Mm-hmm. And I especially like her since she divorced that idiot Tom Cruise. Okay, so because of his Scientology nuttiness that he was trying to force on their children, which I think is a form of abuse. Anyway, did you ever see her in, there was, well, that's this famous Kubrick film, but she was also in a film where there was a crazy psycho that they came across. Her and her husband were out on a yacht at sea.
Oh yes, I saw that.
Yeah, that was a really good film, and she did a superb acting job in it. She had to try to placate the guy and lead him along to think that she'd go along with him, you know, before she ultimately fired a flare into his mouth and did him in, because then he was trying to kill her eventually. It was a very creepy bad guy. I can't remember the title.
He let her cut his hair. He was so stupid.
Yeah, that's right. And the husband had like shipwrecked the husband on a skiff or something, and the husband was over on this other yacht where the guy had killed everybody. Can't remember the title of the film, but it was a very good thriller, and her performance was a standout because she had to go through a whole range of emotions and show how she could do an acting job for this guy to keep the crazed psycho from killing her. Anyway, my battery's about out, everyone. I was gonna chew gum while I did this, but I'll have to do that on another video. Instead, I'll have one more bite of my yummy caramel pasalubong. Would you like some? I can't give you any, but it's good. Very nice, babe. Very yummy.
Good enough. It can be better.
All right. Take care, everyone. We'll be back when I get back home to my own environment. just relax and have a good night's sleep. Forget all the troubles in the world. It's not worth thinking about. All right. Bye-bye.